What if everything you believed about science, and everything you believed about faith, were in fact not opposing forces, but two sides of the same mystery? We live in an era of incredible discovery. Telescopes that peer into the birth of the universe, genes that whisper the code of life, ruins that recall ancient deluges. Yet in the quiet corners of the past, ancient texts like the Bible speak of origins, floods, designs and beginnings in words that still echo today. Tonight I invite you to lean in close, to listen to the faint vibration between faith and science, and to ask the question, what if the Bible was not simply a spiritual story, but also a scientific blueprint disguised as myth? You are about to embark on a journey where the Big Bang meets, let there be light, DNA meets formed in the image, and a global flood meets geological scars etched across continents. If you've ever felt your mind pulled between two worlds, the empirical and the transcendent, stay with me. Because by the end of this story, you will never look at faith or science the same way again. Throughout history, the narrative has been framed as a battle. Science here, faith there. One demands proof, the other asks for belief. One measures gravity, the other declares purpose. But what if that division is false? What if the conflict is an illusion, born of simplified narratives, rather than real discovery? From the 17th century debates over heliocentrism to modern clashes over evolution versus creationism, the idea that faith must retreat before science has dominated much of our cultural imagination. Yet even the world of astrophysics has surprised believers and skeptics alike by pointing toward cosmic beginnings, fine-tuning, and improbable order. So the question remains, are science and faith enemies? Or are they perhaps secret friends, masquerading under centuries of mistrust? Let's wind the clock back nearly 14 billion years. Modern cosmology tells us the universe exploded into being from an infinitely dense point, then expanded, cooled and shaped galaxies, stars, planets, life. Now let's open an ancient scroll, turn to the book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1. And God said, "Let there be light," Genesis 1:3. Light before stars, creation from nothing, the first act of existence itself. Science sees the same: space, time, matter, energy, and then light. Some scientists admit that the implications are staggering. George Smoot, recipient of the Nobel Prize for his work on cosmic background radiation, said of his research, "If you're religious, it's like seeing God. Look closely. The match is not perfect, and we mustn't flatten faith into science or science into faith. But the echo exists. The rhythm of beginnings aligns. And the implication? Maybe ancient authors were describing more than metaphor. They were describing the very fabric of reality. Deep inside every cell, in every living creature, lies DNA. A code of 4 letters, twisted into an elegant helix, storing the instructions of life. Each human cell holds approximately 3 billion base pairs, an encyclopedia of design. The Bible tells us, "And God created man in his own image," Genesis 1:27. The word image suggests more than shape. It implies pattern, design, purpose. If creation is random, then how do we account for the staggering complexity of life's blueprint? Some argue that the order we see is as much mathematical as mechanical. Creation science researcher John Allen Piper argues that modern studies of fine-tuning in biology, in physics, in cosmology, reveal a remarkable convergence with the narrative of Scripture. What if the whispered design in the ancient text is literally built into the code of life? What if faith and science are describing the same masterpiece, one in words, the other in molecules? Travel across continents and you'll find sedimentary layers, marine fossils atop mountains, signs of ancient water in places now dry. Geological records hint at global or near-global deluges, massive floods that reshaped the land. In the Bible, we read the story of Noah's flood, waters that covered the earth, an ark that carried humanity forward. But is that only myth, or is it memory? Many ancient cultures share flood narratives. Many scientists seek traces of planetary water cataclysms. Consider this: a planet filled with water forming atmosphere, oceans, driving geological change, the fossils of marine life on high peaks. What if the story of the flood isn't just moral lesson, but encoded memory of real planetary upheaval? So where does that leave us? Do we reject faith in favour of science, or science in favour of faith? What if the answer is neither? Perhaps the ancient author who wrote, "Let there be light," and the modern scientist who measured the cosmic microwave background were observing the same dawn, just through different languages. Perhaps the designer in Genesis and the code in DNA are partners, not rivals. And perhaps the flood stories, the myths, the memory of a water planet are not biblical oddities, but worldwide echoes of real events. It's not about choosing one side, it's about expanding our vision. If Scripture held only spiritual truth and science only physical fact, then the divide would remain. But when they converge, when the metaphors match the measurements, the implications are profound. This is not a surrender of science. Neither is it a dilution of faith. It's an invitation to see a wider picture, one in which the universe, in all its grandeur, purpose, and mystery, may be speaking to us in two languages at once. So I ask you now, will you keep probing? Will you stay curious? Will you follow the thread that connects lab benches and pulpits, telescopes and temples? The journey is not easy. It demands humility, because to admit that we might be wrong about something foundational is daunting. It demands openness, because what we discover might change our view of ourselves, of God, of reality. Yet the reward is great. To glimpse, however faintly, the unity of truth. To realise that faith is not the enemy of reason, and reason is not the adversary of faith, but together they may reveal the cosmos and the Creator. Thank you for staying with me. If you're still watching, it means your mind is open. Keep seeking. Keep asking. The next discovery may be closer than you think. And if you believe, comment "Yes" below. If you doubt, comment "How" below. Subscribe for more journeys into the unexpected, because the truth was always there, waiting for someone brave enough to look.